Good evening, everyone. You're listening to Red Pill 78. I am the corruption detector, and this is your Red Pill news. Well, first tonight, I wanted to start off with my 2 cents on the Mitt Romney affair. Everyone is talking about his ridiculous hit piece op-ed that he wrote for the Washington Compost, CIA Central. I think it's incredible the brazenness that Mitt Romney has. What he did during the election, he was more than happy to accept Donald Trump's nomination. He knew that by accepting Donald Trump's nomination, he would be able to win a seat there in Utah. Now, Mitt Romney is a spectacularly failed politician. He went against Barack Obama, and he looked like a bag of wet diapers compared to him. He was weak on everything. And when it came time to accept the strength, the raw virility that was Donald Trump's endorsement, he took it because he knew that was his only way to win. Now that he's in there, he wants to attack our president. Okay, during the election cycle, he agreed that he basically was on board with all of Trump's platforms, everything that he was doing. He was for it. Okay, and now that he's there, he suddenly wants to attack his character. Well, I think the people of Utah are going to remember that. I really believe that they are now realizing the mistake that they made, and I think it's incredible that his niece, Ronna Romney, the leader of the RNC, came out against him. This is just the beginning. Mitt Romney's career is over. All right. He needs to play ball if he wants to keep any type of job in Washington or in Utah, for that matter, because I don't think he's going to have a snowball's chance in heck come 2020 if he's thinking that he's going to take all this, attack Donald Trump, and then run against him. That's just ridiculous. Donald Trump in 2016. Sorry about that, guys. My dog started having a coughing attack. All right. Basically, this is going to take Mitt Romney nowhere. He thinks he's going to ride this wave. He's going to, be part of the mainstream that is going against Donald Trump. Well, take a look around, Mitt. How's it doing for everybody else? Not a dang bit of good, okay? All you're going to do is create a whole lot of noise that's going to end up as a whole lot of nothing. Donald Trump here said in 2016, Mitt Romney is a mixed-up man who doesn't have a clue. No wonder he lost. Wise words, okay? Mitt Romney doesn't have a platform, okay? He doesn't know how he feels. He flows with the wind, all right? He will do whatever he thinks is going to get people to like him, all right? He thought that people would like him if he was taking the support of Trump and that he boosted the president's agenda. Well, he did it, and it worked. But I'll tell you what's not going to work, Mitt, going against our president, because he is saving our country. Mitt Romney, what a piece. All right, next, I have this release from the White House today. Look at that. Interesting number there. The White House and President Donald Trump sent 17 nominations to the Senate. Right here, we've got William Barr going to be the next Attorney General. Richard Bell of Pennsylvania. He's a career member of the Senior Foreign Service class of counselor to be Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the United States to the of America to the Republic of Cote d'Ivoire. Never even heard of that. I'm going to have to look that up. Russell A. Berman of California to be a member of the National Council on Humanities for a term expiring in 2020. Mark Anthony Calabria of Virginia to be Director of the Federal Housing Finance Agency. William English of the District of Columbia to be a member of the National Council on the Humanities. We've got John Fonte of Virginia to be a member of the National Council on the Humanities. Marjorie Fisher Furman of Michigan to be a member of the National Council of Humanities. Charles L. Glazer of Connecticut to be a member of the United States Advisory Commission on Public Diplomacy. Claire Griffin of Washington to be a member of the National Council on the Humanities. Joyce Malcolm of Virginia to be a member of the National Council on Humanities. Adair Margot of Texas to be a member of the National Council of Humanities. Nicole R. Nason of New York to be the Administrator of the Federal Highway Administration. Elliot Pedrosa of Florida to be the United States Executive Director of the Inter-American Development Bank. Matthew Rose of Iowa to be a member of the National Council on the Humanities, William Schneider Jr. of Colorado to be a member of the National Council on the Humanities, Noel Vallis of Connecticut to be a member of the National Council on Humanities, and Robert Williams of Virginia to be Assistant Secretary of State for South Asian Affairs. So hopefully these people are going to do a good job for President Trump. This is going to be a lot of deep state getting cleaned out and filled in by the president's appointments and nominations. All right, and in more Trump news, reporters today melt down after Trump takes no questions at the press briefing. President Donald Trump spoke to the press briefly Thursday afternoon, alongside some Border Patrol officers to emphasize his reasons for wanting a border wall. That, however, was apparently not the most important thing about this briefing, according to some mainstream media outlets. The biggest deal was the media members didn't get to ask any questions. Aww. Josh Dawsey, don't know who he is, he says no questions. The president came out with Border Patrol agents to the podium and called for a wall, while introducing the agents who echoed his call. Will there be any questions today? Caitlin Collins could be heard shouting as everyone retreated. Caitlin Collins continues to throw a temper tantrum. It's not a press briefing if you don't take questions. Philip Bump says Trump also repeats his claim that no one knows more about drone technology than he does. This was added to his skill set yesterday. And then no questions, a new low in the press briefing standard. But what is a briefing really? Let's take a look at a definition. A briefing is a noun, and it means a meeting for giving information or instructions, or the action of informing or instructing someone. Hand on chin. Media members upset that a briefing didn't have questions. Well, here's the definition of a briefing to remind them. I guess it was a briefing after all. President Trump. These people will complain about anything. God. Thank you, President Trump. We have a series of stories. Bad news has been hitting the airwaves about some major tech behemoths. First of all, Apple has a growth problem. This is from Quartz, it's called. Let's see what they have to say. For the first time in over 15 years, Apple, the consumer electronics behemoth that has seemed untouchable since the turn of the millennium, announced January 2nd that it would likely miss the revenue target it set for the holiday quarter. Apple has, with only a few minor blips along the way, managed to grow its revenue almost every quarter for a decade. It's raked in hundreds of billions of dollars along the way, mainly on the strength of the iPhone. The smartphone that went on to define the mobile era has sold over 1 billion units. Over the summer, Apple became the first U.S. company ever to hit $1 trillion in market capitalization. It's been an unbridled success story for Apple and CEO Tim Cook, who took over after the passing of founder Steve Jobs in 2011. But as unprecedented a run as it's been, many have said for years that Apple will need to diversify beyond the iPhone, that eventually consumers will look elsewhere for their luxury gadgets. Apple has managed to stave off those fears by consistently posting massive revenues, but recently, reality does seem to be sitting in. Growth in all of Apple's main products, including the iPhone, has been effectively flat for a few years now. Apple has combated this by charging more for its new products. The latest top-of-the-line iPhone starts at $1,100. I definitely don't own that one. And by increasing the quality of services it offers, such as Apple Music subscriptions and movie and app sales. These have helped shore up any weaknesses in demand for the iPhone in recent quarters, but analysts are warning that Apple's announcement yesterday may only be the tip of the iceberg, and that demand may be deteriorating, according to Business Insider. And as Cook mentioned in his note to investors yesterday, increasing trade tensions between the U.S. and China will likely not help the company much either. For years, critics of Cook have said that the CEO has failed to release a new product that was as revolutionary as the iPod or iPhone were, instead choosing to iterate on existing technologies and designs. The Apple Watch, the first new major product release during Cook's tenure, has not lived up to the iPhone in terms of sales. And as of right now, it doesn't look as if there are any big surprises on the horizon. Rumors have bubbled for years about groundbreaking new devices like augmented reality glasses, Google Glass, where'd they go, or even a car. But during Cook's leadership, all we have seen is the iPhone, iPad, and Mac computers released in new shapes and sizes. That being said, it's worth keeping things grounded. Apple is not doomed. The company cut its revenue guidance for the holiday quarter to $84 billion, which would still be its second most successful quarter ever. Isn't it amazing that their second most successful quarter ever, and they're worried because they're not going to hit their projections? Wow. You can't have unlimited growth, Apple. It has reams of cash in the bank, much of which it's repatriated to the U.S. thanks to favorable changes in tax laws passed by the Trump administration, and there are few signs of its business completely cratering. But it does seem that Apple is finally losing its ability to plaster over any holes in its iPhone business. All right, now, the next story in tech troubles is from Facebook. Zucked up. Mark Zuckerberg halts Facebook stock sale as value plummets over privacy scandals. The controversial billionaire is facing hard times. All right. Internationally renowned CIA company, Facebook. Billionaire Mark Zuckerberg has halted the sale of his Facebook stock after the company's value collapsed last year. This is huge. The controversial 34-year-old has seen his company fall from grace and failed to sell a single share in the last 3 months of 2018. Oh my God, you're in trouble when you can't sell your stock. Oh, you guys ever notice that Mark Zuckerberg kind of looks like Data from Star Trek The Next Generation? Back in September 2017, Zuck promised to flog between 35 million and 75 million of his Facebook shares over 18 months. It was part of a promise to give away most of his fortune, which requires converting stocks to hard cash. Since then, he sold about 30.4 million shares, worth roughly $5.6 billion. But Bloomberg says that the Facebook CEO has stopped selling shares after 2018 saw Facebook's worth plummet. His dead eyes. In just a few days in December, Facebook's stock price slumped by nearly $10 billion after sealed court indictments about the firm were released to the public. The secret files, which contain emails from billionaire boss Mark Zuckerberg, revealed the inner workings of Facebook and the company's blatant disregard for user privacy. And between July and December, Facebook lost around 172 billion pounds as the year saw Zuck's social network become the world's most notorious tech firm. At the time, it was equivalent to losing the combined value of Netflix, Twitter, Snapchat, and Sony. Holy jeez. Facebook has also lost 92 billion pounds in value since the beginning of 2018. Look at this. What a sleazebag. Shutting down Vine's Friends Data Access. You guys remember Vine? They were the short video service that Twitter started. Well, in an email from 24th of January 2013, one of Zuck's minions says, Twitter launched Vine today, which lets you shoot multiple short video segments to make one single 6-second video. As part of their NUX, you can find friends via Facebook. Unless anyone raises objections, we will shut down their Friends API access today. We've prepared reactive PR, and I will let Jana know our decision. Mark Zuckerberg says, yup, go for it. And that's why Vine doesn't exist anymore. Wow, there goes their stock price from July. Wow, boom, 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 to almost nothing. The Harvard dropout came under fire after a New York Times expose revealed that Facebook secretly let Netflix and Spotify read your private messages. You guys, get rid of Facebook. Get rid of it now. The private partnerships were exposed through leaked Facebook files that highlight the company's ongoing failure to protect users' privacy. This leak also revealed that Facebook had given user data to Yandex, Russia's equivalent to Google, despite the company's alleged direct line to Kremlin spies. Russia collusion right here with Facebook. A separate report from Gizmodo found that Facebook was still tracking your exact location, even if users told it not to. The sinister tactic sees Facebook skirt your settings to serve your location-based advertising, helping Zuckerberg make even more money. And late last year, Facebook admitted a major cybersecurity blunder. It had given app makers access to private photos from your smartphone's camera roll. That's death in today's world. These were photos that had never been posted to Facebook but were sent to app makers without user permission. Facebook believes that around 6.8 million users were exposed by the gaffe. Oh my God. Facebook's streak of bad luck largely began in March when the company was forced to admit it had given away user info without their consent. It led to Mark Zuckerberg being confused by useless lawmakers at the U.S. Congress, followed by an equally confused hearing at the EU. Matters were made worse when Facebook admitted in September that it had given hackers complete access to 30 million user accounts due to 3 different coding cock-ups on its website. Some spectators have suggested Mark Zuckerberg has lost control of Facebook, including Belgian and EU politician Guy Verhofstadt. Wow. Here you go. Here's a handy-dandy guide to deleting Facebook. This will definitely be in the pinned comment below so you guys can delete your account. The situation is now so bad at Facebook that workers are turning on their dodgy boss. Reports suggest Facebook staff had resorted to buying burner phones to allow them to badmouth their supervisors without fear of being recorded. Former employees described a toxic and hostile work environment at the social media giant, which has been hit by a wave of data leaks and fake news scandals over a torrid few years. One former senior staff member told BuzzFeed News that workers were eyeing up a change of leadership. People are hoping for a Sundar or Dara moment, the worker said, referring to Google chief Sundar Pichai and Uber's new boss, Dara Khosrowshahi. Another said paranoia among employees meant they were using secondary phones to gossip about colleagues. The source revealed people now have burner phones to talk smack about the company, not even to reporters, just to other employees. They added that seething bosses are spouting full-blown anti-media rhetoric, saying that the press is ganging up on Facebook. It's the bunker mentality. These people have been under siege for 600 days now. They're getting tired, getting cranky. The only survival strategy is to quit or fully buy in. Facebook has suffered major losses in terms of execs, too. WhatsApp co-founder Jan Koum left the company in April this year and was followed by Instagram founders Kevin Systrom and Mike Krieger in September. Mark Zuckerberg is now under pressure from some investors to stand down from the company's chief exec position. Facebook declined to comment on this story. Of course they did. Well, it looks like the tide has turned on Facebook. The tide is turning on Apple. Well, time to check in with Google. Looks like Google has been up to some hanky-panky, and it's very interesting that the crown jewel of the tech world is also now being smeared in the mainstream media. Google shifted $23 billion to tax haven in Bermuda in 2017. Google removed 19.9 billion euros through a Dutch shell company to Bermuda in 2017 as part of an arrangement that allows it to reduce its foreign tax bill, according to documents filed at the Dutch Chamber of Commerce. The amount channeled through Google Netherlands Holdings BV was around 4 billion euros more than in 2016, the documents filed on December 21st showed. We pay all of the taxes due and comply with the tax laws in every country we operate in around the world, Google said in a statement. Google, like other multinational companies, pays the vast majority of its corporate income tax in its home country, and we have paid a global effective tax rate of 26% over the last 10 years. For more than a decade, the arrangement has allowed Google owner Alphabet to enjoy an effective tax rate in the single digits on its non-U.S. profits, around a quarter of the average tax rate in its overseas markets. The subsidiary in the Netherlands is used to shift revenue from royalties earned outside the United States to Google Ireland Holdings, an affiliate based in Bermuda where companies pay no income tax. The tax strategy, known as the double Irish-Dutch sandwich, is legal and allows Google to avoid triggering U.S. income taxes or European withholding taxes on the funds, which represent the bulk of its overseas profit. However, under pressure from the European Union and the United States, Ireland in 2014 decided to phase out the arrangement, ending Google's tax advantages in 2020. Google Netherlands Holdings BV paid 3.4 million euros in taxes in the Netherlands in 2017, the documents showed, on a gross profit margin of 13.6 million euros. Well, I'm reminded by Trump's talking about antitrust things having to do with these giant corporations. So who's next? Are we going to get more bad news about Twitter in the coming days? I think they're the only one that's not on the list. So it appears to me as if time is almost up for these big tech companies. They have abused us and made money off of us for so long. It's time to pull out, guys. use that handy dandy little guide in that article about Facebook and delete your Facebook account. We can talk here on YouTube. We can even talk on Twitter or Gab. Twitter is just as bad, but I don't know that they are stealing our data or making the money off of us in the same way that Facebook is. Either way, what we really need is to create a new social media platform, someplace that we can gather and speak freely and not worry about our identity or our information being stolen and used for profit. It's time that we profit. And I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about the bounty of being able to speak our minds and to not be afraid to say how we feel. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I am, as always, Red Pill 78. This was your Red Pill News. Good luck, everyone, and God bless.